Remember, the next episode after this is already up live and available to watch now by over 4,500 incredible fans on the world's largest and highest earning anime and manga Patreon in the world. The links are in the pinned comment and description. See you there. How did I get here? That's a question I've been asking myself for a long while now. The name is Son Goku, or at least, that's what they used to call me. What started out as a story to save my family and get revenge has turned into one where I hope to find repentance for all I've done. But I guess I'll let you all see for yourselves. Please, forgive me. Dad, you're changing. I can feel it, Gohan. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. So our story begins in a familiar scene, but perhaps a completely different timeline in the Dragon Ball Super multiverse, as Goku would be seen levitating in the air, surrounded in a mysterious blue key, while Videl, Vegeta, Gohan, Goten and Trunks would all lend him the power of 5 righteous Saiyans. And before long, this lending of pure Saiyan energy would lead to an eruption of shining ki, divine in its appearance, covering the whole land in its blue hue. Guys, he's done it! Goku! Goku! And the first to react in awe, also covered in this all-encompassing blue light, would be Bulma, Piccolo, and Krillin until... out of the blue, a phoenix of red would rise, as Super Saiyan God Goku would for the first time in this timeline finally emerge in a flurry of red aura and energy bursting out in all directions. And for a moment, the newly crowned deity version of Goku would look at his own hand in awe, watching as red aura would emanate from it, turning his head and commenting, "So this is what Shenron was talking about. He was right. I'm a Super Saiyan God." And with that, Goku would eventually find himself levitating and trailing over to near Whis and Beerus. As Beerus, seen sipping on an ice-cold drink on a sun lounger, would peer curiously and ask, "Whis, is that really Son Goku? Something's changed about him. His hair color. It does remind me of..." "Yes, my lord. It seems this Saiyan has done something of sorts. His energy feels divine. Perhaps this really is who the Oracle Fish prophesied for you. Your ultimate challenge." I don't know about ultimate challenge. You were pretty unstoppable on King Kai's planet. As Goku, now interrupting, would smirk, his aura continuing to race as his confidence would inevitably build also, as he would add, "But having said that, I'm definitely ready to give it a shot, Beerus. I won't go easy." As a giggling Beerus would just finally get up from his lounger, hands on his hips and eyes closed, saying, "Well, you better know pretty soon, Saiyan. I've been waiting for this longer than you've been alive. Just know the consequences if you fail to live up to this Super Saiyan God will be dire. We'll see about that! As immediately, not one to keep the destroyer waiting, the flaming Goku would rush straight in and with a straight face. Just as mindless with your fighting as before. This won't end well. But not really having to move at all, Beerus would stop the high momentum punch with a simple grab in his wrist, as the shockwave would pass by the entire battlefield from its impact alone. But standing there still, with his palm wrapped around Goku's fist, smirking away, the destroyer would comment, "You're a little stronger, but this has barely closed the gap. Destruction like this is nothing for me to look twice at. I hope you know that, Saiyan." As when the scene would zoom out, there would indeed be destruction around the two. Just perhaps not the kind Beerus was used to. As soon, both simultaneously would rise up into the air, now high in the sky, staring forward at each other, as Beerus, placing his hands behind his back, would whisper one final time, "Make this count, mortal. I came all the way here and disturbed my nap for you. You promised me a Super Saiyan God, and I will get one." As just like that, now Beerus would make his own move, still with his arms behind his back, but his body immediately closing the distance and moving in a blur of speed. His first attack being a roundhouse kick he launches towards Goku's skull, but this would be expertly blocked by the Saiyan. But unfortunately, Goku's response of a right jab forward would easily be dodged by Beerus. I said give me a challenge, Saiyan! I'm trying! As Beerus, after an enraged yelling from his frustration, would quickly respond with a seismic headbutt, sending Goku's body flying backwards with speed. But Beerus' speed would go even faster, blasting off in chase like he were catching prey. What? And in a flash, the destroyer feline would be right on top of Goku, with his hands locked together behind him until... Like a hammer, Beerus would slam both onto Goku's head on, sending the godly Saiyan straight to the green clutches of a nearby dense forest. Damn! Beerus seems even stronger than before. At least I'm surviving this time though. As Goku, cautiously laying in hiding, would struggle to believe just how strong Beerus would be even with his all-new powerful form. No! He's here already! As Goku would then be left like a deer caught in headlights as he would watch on in the distance as a bright purple energy would roar towards him, the onslaught of Beerus simply not showing any sign of end. But it would seem the destroyer would be full of surprises, as though Goku would be waiting patiently for his fast approaching arrival. Beerus in the end would opt to vanish out of nowhere. His energy, it's gone! The god's energy, you can't detect it! As it would be at this point, Goku would first learn that divine ki cannot be measured and pinpointed the same way as mortals. eyes, leaving the Saiyan wide-eyed, trying his best to make use of his other senses. Damn it! You wouldn't be able to see me coming, even if I told you where I'd be, mortal! Get real and get better quickly! My patience is running thin. This planet will be finished if you fail! I won't let you! I won't let you! As Goku, now finally showing an element of rage, would start to realize this battle was no spar, and far more important than he could imagine, exploding his aura as he would shoot up into the sky, taking Beerus with him, though the destroyer would seem to be grinning even more as this would happen. Soon, the two would be in the depths of space above the atmosphere of Earth. Useless! But once they would reach high enough, it would appear Beerus had got the upper hand once again, seen roughly throwing Goku into the distance to slam into a nearby floating meteor. You have failed, Son Goku! You are not what I wanted! As Beerus callously and swiftly would continue to then smash his leg straight into Goku, obliterating the rock he landed on in the process. And down below, all the Z fighters could do was watch on patiently as a flurry of Goku's red aura would be sent from one side to the next like a ragdoll, progressively getting smaller and smaller and weaker in its luminance. It all culminating in an instant descent to the ground for a gigantic crash landing, far bigger than any Saiyan space pod ever did before. Beerus! So this is what King Kai warned me about. The power of the destroyers. It's incredible. I could still go on, but... Don't! As usual, you Saiyans only know how to talk. The same with that coward king, the same with his son, and the same with you. Whis, apart from the food, this was a waste of my time. No! But hearing this exchange between Goku and Beerus, Vegeta, almost as if knowing all too well the true nature of the destroyer, would be sweating bullets, a ghostly hue of fear as he would mumble, "No! Kakarot! You can't lose this! You don't understand! We'll all be done for!" You know what? I know when I'm beat. But in a shock turn of events, Goku would suddenly fall to the ground sitting and return to base, a smile on his face as he would remark, "This battle was great. I can't believe how much I still have to go. How incredible you are, Beerus." Before placing his hand behind his head, Goku would then continue with a giant warm smile. "I couldn't beat you this time, but I promise, give me some time, and I will next time. It's a deal." "There won't be a next time, Goku-san." But coldly, Whis would just intervene, continuing on with a dead look in his eyes. "Did you not hear what Lord Beerus said? If you fail to give him the challenge he desired and live up to the name of the Super Saiyan God, then this planet would be erased. This is no fairy tale. You're kidding, right? I did my best. I took your attacks. You can't be serious. But Goku, seemingly living in his ignorance and bliss, would be stunned when the atmosphere would change completely from the usual joy that follows his smile. As Beerus, now powering up a small ball of Hakai on just the tip of his finger, would equally emotionlessly let out, "These Saiyans really are brain dead. Monkeys like Frieza used to tell me, why would a god of destruction ever not be serious? Did you think I would take back my word? Or perhaps destroy a tiny piece of this planet to appear like I kept to it? This is real life, mortal. And yours and everyone else's here has theirs end today. Now witness what separates the strongest destroyer of all 12 universes from lying, disappointing scum like you. This is the power of destruction. Hakai! As just like that, Beerus would toss the small ball of destruction straight forward and seemingly right down towards all the Z fighters. But from its direction and speed, it would be totally unclear just who he had targeted, if anyone at all. Perhaps after all, just like in the original timeline, Beerus was going to be kind-hearted. What is that? It's so pretty. But unexpectedly, Bulma would find herself coated in a purple shine, mesmerized until... in a scene nobody expected to see, the first target of the God of Destruction's wrath would be Bulma Briefs. Stuck right on her chest, the poor woman unable to do a thing. As near instantly, she would begin erasing from existence, and even in that most vulnerable position, her final words would be, Vegeta, I love you. Bulma! No! Bulma! As Piccolo and Goku would be the first to react, stunned to ever see her brutally taken. Never in their wildest dreams did they think she would be the first casualty. Bulma! But one more Saiyan, her husband and father of her child Vegeta, would be alone at the back staring, his face frozen, as he had just witnessed for the first time in his life the fatal harming of his own wife. Bulma! My Bulma! As with his body paralyzed from this intense emotion, grief and heartbreak, as if his own life was ending and flashing before his eyes, a replay of all his memories with Bulma from their first meeting on Namek, their time on Earth, the memories, the years, everything would play within Vegeta's mind. And with Vegeta's knowledge of Beerus, he knew that this was no normal death. The love of his life had truly been taken away from him forever, leaving him only to mutter, I loved you too! But this shock would finally begin to seep out into something far more visible, as his golden aura would begin slowly moving all over his body like smoke, almost like without his control. And from his eyes, tears would fall from his sheer pain too, whispering, "You will pay! You will pay!" As this lack of control would come to a crescendo when Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans, would snap like he had never snapped before, his whole body and face morphing from just how large his scream would be. His whole body would engulf in a Super Saiyan aura that could not be compared to any that had been seen in the past. The result being what looks like a nuke exploding on the ground, as an aura of limitless Saiyan energy would burst into the heavens, spewing wind, smoke and debris all over the ground and in Goku's face. As Goku, still hurt from the loss of Bulma as well, would stare in sympathy saying, "Vegeta, it's okay. It's good!" But of course, stuck in his own world now, Vegeta's power-up would begin bearing fruit, as his hair would suddenly begin growing and growing rapidly, his loud scream seeming to be never-ending. Destroyer! And finally, in the end, Vegeta would indeed reveal an all-new level of power, a new form of his own. And at long last, he would ascend to a Super Saiyan 3 form, but slightly different to what Goku had. His hair noticeably shorter, his energy far greater. The Prince of Saiyans had unlocked some kind of perfected Super Saiyan 3. And as his body would become surrounded in a roaring yellow electricity, the only figure in his sight would be beerus. I'm going to kill you, you damn cat! As on primal instinct, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta would launch forward finally at the killer of his spouse, blasting off in a destructive wave into the sky at Beerus, shaking the very earth as he would do so. The other Saiyan! What? As in an unbelievable scene, with sheer pride and Saiyan rage alone, Vegeta would surpass all of Goku's attempts and actually land a fist straight flush on Beerus's cheek. You're kidding me! How dare you, Vegeta! I should have killed you as a child myself! This strike genuinely surprising Beerus, but annoying him at the same time from the embarrassment. And it wouldn't be long before Vegeta would sense a reply. As Beerus, nanoseconds later, would appear right to the side of Vegeta, with his left arm pulled back to finish things. What? But Vegeta, unbelievably, would be full of surprises yet again, as vanishing faster than a literal destroyer, he would make Beerus miss. Was this brat actually the god I wanted to fight? Leaving Beerus actually beginning to second-guess himself. Wait, you're... Slowly, though, he would find himself turning around as behind him he would sense the unthinkable. as up in the sky, already set in motion, with his hands spread apart wide, Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta would be powering up the most powerful attack within his arsenal by far, slamming his wrists together, yelling, "Final Flash!" As with a speed of energy blast that would take Beerus by surprise, true to the name of a flash, it would be right at Beerus' stunned face instantly, as the destroyer would just comment, "Grease? Maybe he was." But such thoughts would come to an end when the explosion on contact would come, with Beerus at the center, hopefully stopped for the sake of everyone on Earth. Whoa! With even Goku standing up, just staring, wondering too if Vegeta really did it. In front of the prince though, this explosion would just leave a thick trail of dark smoke that would seem like a literal sea in front of him. For Bulma! As an exhausted Vegeta would just stare huffing and puffing away, clearly having gave everything in that one attack, as an air of confidence would be about him that he actually succeeded. But the confidence would begin to fade when, slower than you could ever imagine, like a loading screen, a purple hand would reach through the smoke. There's no way! You shouldn't be here anymore! As a now trembling Vegeta would just look forward, as clearly it would be Beerus' hand, and morphed into a certain position, pulling a single finger back until... with a flick, the same one we may have seen in another timeline, Vegeta would be smacked as if he'd been shot in the forehead. Sent backwards with speed to ultimately crash land through the entirety of Orange City, until eventually meeting his halt somewhere near its outskirts. It's impossible! As flat on his bottom, the prince would try his best to struggle for more, but then finally just returned to base unconscious, his mind immediately sent to dreaming of Bulma, putting himself out of his misery. Vegeta! Goku, of course, exhausted and beaten himself, could only shout out the prince's name. But coming out of the smoke with his hands behind his back, unfortunately, Beerus wouldn't look like he had a single scratch on him. Well, another huge disappointment. Who could have guessed that? Whis, I think I've seen and heard enough. Time to destroy these filthy liars. As just like that, Beerus in the sky would lift his arm, and on top, a Hakai, the size to surpass even a spirit bomb would grow, every second getting larger, and every second becoming more and more overkill for the Z-Fighters, as if Beerus in this timeline had put in far more of his destruction energy than he would ever have needed. No! Why is he doing this? Why? Because I lost! I'll fight you again! and Goku, looking at this, would be left unable to do a thing, still wondering why any being would do this for such a nonsensical reason. Like this god just had no value for mortal life. But regardless, thinking still of Vegeta, Goku would vanish and appear right next to the prince, holding him saying, "Vegeta, hang in there!" But as he would waste his breath on the still unconscious Vegeta, arriving down like the end of the world would be Beerus's giant Hakai. "Ah! Mr. Piccolo, what do we do?" "Gohan, I don't know, but we need to fight!" As the rest of the Z Fighters would now be in total panic mode, all of them knowing this could be their final moments. But true to their name and nature, the Warriors of Earth in Universe 7 would not go down without at least a fight, each of them powering up their auras to the limits. Before simultaneously, everyone would do their part and fly straight for the mysterious purple energy in the sky, thinking naively that they would be able to stop it. My favorite part, when the cockroaches think they can defeat fire itself. What a terrible mistake! Hakai! But Beerus would know all too well what would really happen. Yet the God of Destruction would callously still push it further down regardless. "Come on! Push it back!" And Piccolo, leading the charge as not the strongest, but definitely the OG of the Z Fighters, would command everyone to go towards its surface. But little would he know just what would happen. "Mr. Piccolo! This doesn't feel like normal energy! This is... No! Videl! Pan! Forgive me!" As Gohan, the smartest of the bunch, would then be the first to learn the true power of Hakai. As even as a Super Saiyan 2, the minute he would come close, he would not burn, but instantly be turned to dust. And the same fate would unfortunately await everyone else, as Tien Shinhan, Piccolo, Krillin, Yamcha, and even the young Goten and Trunks would immediately find their existences ended permanently. You monster! Gohan! Goten! And the extreme trauma, Goku would be forced to see this all happen before his eyes, along with their final screams. All that coupled as ultimately Beerus' Hakai would continue to race straight towards him as well. I can't let anyone else die too! Chi-Chi! Pan! I've got to stop this! And emulating their courage of his sons, Goku would be up alone as Vegeta would rest in a deep sleep behind. He would close his fists and tense every muscle he had and... I won't let you do this! And with a defiant yell, Goku would stretch out both hands before him and attempt to do what none of the others could. And unbelievably, of course, of all the fighters, Son Goku would be the one to make contact and not disappear instantly. the divine energy of his Super Saiyan God transformation somehow transferring to even his base form, allowing him to survive. What is this? But survive wouldn't really be enough. As though he would be erasing slowly, he would still be erasing, and completely struggling to move it back. He would visibly instead be pushed into the ground, his feet being the first sign, smashing straight through the floor. But Son Goku would never really be alone. As soon, we'd see a small but mysterious small planet against a pink sky. Goku! And with it, King Kai would be seen yelling and speaking telepathically, as with knowledge of both the destroyers and Goku, he would let out, "Don't fight it, Goku! You can't win like that, but you need to use your spirit bomb training! Treat that energy like it's your own! Become one with it! It's your only hope!" Like a spirit bomb! And this final word from King Kai would be all that would run through the mind of Goku in his final moments. Make or break we wouldn't know, but judging by how Goku's body would continue to break off into particles, things would not be looking good. And unfortunately from the distance, we would see Beerus and Whis watching as the Hakai ball ultimately would then make contact with the ground, signaling Goku's unfortunate failure. Well, Whis, looks like these Saiyans are finally extinct. Guess this wasn't a complete waste of time then. Of course, Lord Beerus. At least we had the chance to try some Earth food before it was gone. I'll be sure to model my recipes after theirs. And with those truly dark and uncompassionate final lines said, the two gods would just vanish away as if it were nothing. And from space, what was once a perfectly peaceful planet that had lasted billions of years without issue would suddenly, in an instant, break up into pure particulate, never to be seen again. And amongst the planetary dust, debris of meteors left now in its place, nothing would be seen, until we would zoom in and just about see what looks like the silhouette of a singular figure, or maybe two. As Vegeta, of all people, would be seen first, still alive, still unconscious, but still alive nonetheless, as it would seem he was being held onto by a certain other figure. Oh my! He did it! He really did it! As King Kai would now be gobsmacked by the appearance of who this other certain figure was. Why? As unbelievably defying all odds, Son Goku had survived. But what had emerged was no longer the kind-hearted Saiyan we once knew. After experiencing such cold-heartedness, such sorrow and violence firsthand, and after accepting the power of destruction just as his master King Kai had told him, Ultra Goku would be born. Now in an ultra ego state, holding on to Vegeta, the only person he could save, as with his teeth gritted, this Goku would let out beerus, Whis. I've never experienced evil like this. Not from Frieza, not from Cell, not even from Boo. I promise you all, my friends, these gods will die!
But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag GKGoku in the comments down below and let me know just what will God Killer Goku do now? Or just find out what happens right now on my Patreon, where you can see the full next video, fully voice acted, soundtracked, and edited for you to enjoy with over 4,500 plus other fans, as well as getting access to 250 plus other fan mangas too. It's the deal of the century.